So the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial has taken yet another unexpected turn. One of the prominent defense lawyers in this case, that's Advocate Malesela Teffo, has told the court that he's withdrawing as counsel for accused number 1 to 4 in this trial. He says he cannot take harassment by the state and the judge anymore. So what effect will this have on the matter itself? Let's bring in the head of AfriForum's private prosecution unit, Gerrie, who's also on a watching brief for some of the Senzo Meyiwa family members, joining us via our video link. It's great to see you as always, Advocate. Thanks very much indeed for your time. I'm tempted to ask you if you expected this, but perhaps as a secondary question, the obvious inquiry is what impact do you reckon this is going to have on a matter that's been delayed for so long already?
Good morning, Ayanda. Isn't it unfortunate that we're having an interview again and that we're focusing on the conduct of counsel in the trial? Should we not have had an interview dealing with the brilliant cross-examination or brilliant evidence by a ballistic expert, or how far we've now been dealing with the merits of the matter? You know, that's what we've been saying from the start. There's been so many delays in this particular matter. This is just one more. You know, yesterday was a case in point of all the delays. 4 things happened yesterday, Yanda. The first is the matter was postponed to hear argument on jurisdiction of the court. Now, there was absolutely no merit in that application, and therefore the application was abandoned. Secondly, there was an application or documents filed in terms of Section 87 of the Criminal Procedure Act. It's a bit technical, Ayanda, but there's absolutely no merit in an application in terms of Section 87 once evidence had been laid. The third issue was the issue of Section 6B of the Criminal Procedure Act. There was an application made to the National Director of Public Prosecutions, and she has no jurisdiction to deal with issues in terms of Section 6B. Application should have been brought to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So there were 3 applications that had absolutely no merit. Then a 4th thing happened. There was this letter where the Adv Teffo indicated that his client might be in mortal danger, and the letter was read into court, and the high point of the letter, although there might have been an infringement of rights, the high point of the matter is that the client's been kept in solitary confinement, did not have access to radio and newspapers, and that there was no danger. So that's happened. Those are the kinds of delays that kept this trial. We've only dealt with 1 witness. So, to answer your question, what will now have to happen, Ayanda, is new counsel will have to be appointed. But, you know, we've only dealt with 1 witness. So that would have to be transcribed. Counsel will have to consult. Counsel will have to decide how to approach the matter, and then the matter will proceed. But inevitably, there will be a delay. There's another delay. It's an injustice to the family. I just hope that if we appoint counsel, that everybody in the court will now focus on the merits. That we just move the case forward, that we just move the case in terms of the merits forward so that we get to a judgment, well, sooner rather than later.
It's interesting that you speak about there being an if counsel is appointed. Are you suggesting that there's a prospect that there won't be counsel?
There's an issue, Ayanda, and that is the legal aid appointed counsel for the accused. The accused decided to appoint their own counsel, so it's not automatically that they'll now qualify for legal aid again. They will have to really motivate why they need legal aid. So we'll have to go through that process. It's not automatic that they will now qualify for legal aid again. That's how I understand it, but I really hope we just get counsel in court and that we proceed with the matter.
Of course, you don't want to veer into speculation for a case that's been mired in so much conspiracy already, but I have to ask you why you think there have been so many delays, especially in a context where you feel the delays themselves are on issues that have absolutely no basis. You almost stop short of saying that there's a concerted effort to ensure that this case doesn't go ahead.
You won't like my answer or my approach to this question, but let me answer it in this way. If I'm defense counsel and I know for a fact that my clients are not guilty and I've got enough evidence to prove that they're not guilty, I would just deal with the facts. I will go through the trial, and at the end of the trial say, I told you so. So the delays in this particular matter I cannot really think that it's rational in terms of what we're dealing with, and I really hope that we focus on the merits of the matter. I do appreciate counsel believing in the case of their clients, and that should be so. But then let us deal with the issues, let us deal with the defenses at court, in front of the judge, and let's move the matter forward.
What's interesting in this particular case, though, is that counsel has said they are hamstrung by the harassment that they've suffered for quite some time, suggesting that there is, this plot to have them removed from the case. Malesela Teffo himself has now stepped aside. Do you think that was the right decision?
Ayanda, I wouldn't want to comment on conduct of counsel, but so if you allow me just to say that in interviews afterwards, Advocate Teffo indicated that he will now focus on the trial against himself, which perhaps is the way to do it. But I wouldn't want to comment on conduct of counsel, Ayanda, but I really hope that we appoint counsel and that we just move the case forward. Advocate Mshilolo yesterday indicated that why is she there? Why are we dealing with all these things? That the matter was postponed for one purpose. The purpose was to argue jurisdiction, and she just wanted to proceed with the trial. I support her. I support her in an argument. The judge said, but there's one outstanding issue, and that's the danger that the accused are facing. We've now dealt with it yesterday. I really hope that we can be back in court in September, I hope, but I doubt it. I really doubt that we'll get counsel that will be ready to proceed with this trial in September, although I'm hopeful. I hope it happens.
Yeah. I know you don't want to speak about the conduct of counsel, but we have to reflect on the exchange between Advocate Teffo and the presiding officer yesterday, which I'm sure raised eyebrows wherever you were at as well. Something like that, some people say they've never seen in the almost 2 decades that they've spent visiting the country's courts. I mean, what kind of impact does that sideshow, dare I say, have on getting to the crux and the merits of this particular case? I mean, it's really, let me say, uncommon to see even a presiding officer coming out like that at an advocate or defense, and the defense essentially reciprocating that.
Jan, I was in court yesterday morning. I was in court with a team of my office, and what happened in court, for lack of a better word, irritated me to such an extent that I had to leave. That I just said to the team that, let's go. I can't sit here. I can't be part of this. Let us just go, and we'll follow it in the media, we'll follow it on television. So I wouldn't like to comment on it. What I will say, however, is that being an old judge and an old man, I believe in the decorum of the court. I believe in respect of everybody in the court. And I really hope that society out there, that they don't make up their minds that that's what happened in our courts every day, because that's not so.
Yeah.
In the matters that I'm dealing with, the matters that most advocates are dealing with, there's decorum, there's respect in courts, matters flow. So I don't think, Ayanda, that this is the best example of a criminal matter in the High Court that we have.
Some going as far as to say that it was completely unbecoming. I can appreciate why you'd want to count your words, as it were. That's because you are still involved in this matter in one way or the other. You are on a watching brief for some of the Meyiwa family members in relation to the matter that's in this particular court. Malesela Teffo says that he's also on a watching brief for Senzo Meyiwa in relation to that 375, otherwise known in the media as the second docket. I wonder whether there's room for collaboration between the two of you who are representing one family in one matter, which seemingly might unfold in two separate cases.
Unfortunately, I don't think there will be room for collaboration between us. The clients that I represent are really the people that live this trial, that live the delay, that's been part of the delay, that really just want to understand what's going on, that has no conspiracy theories. They look at the facts. They understand when the facts are explained to them. They understand when I explain to them the strategy of the prosecuting counsel in this matter. Ayanda, you know, when we started this matter, Advocate Baloy indicated step by step how he'll approach this matter, what evidence he'll lead, when he'll lead this evidence, and how he'll prove the matter. We've only led one witness, so I think we should get there. It is unfortunate. It's another delay. It's an injustice to the clients that I represent. But if out of all of this we get counsel that focus on the merit of the matter and not derivative applications, then at least we can move the matter forward.
Let me ask plainly. We know the family is viewing this very differently. Do your clients believe that the 5 men on trial are responsible for Meyiwa's death?
Yes, they do.
All right.
The clients that I represent, I had discussions with, consultations with. They believe that the 5 people before court are correct people and that we have to go through the trial. I know that some of the family members that Mr. Teffo represents, they believe differently, but my clients believe in the matter before court.
Advocate Gerrie, always great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. And you're absolutely right. It really is unfortunate that we're still speaking about the conduct of counsel as opposed to the merits in this particular matter in a context where there's a family desperate for answers. Gerrie, of course, is the head of AfriForum's private prosecutions unit. Once again, thanks very much indeed for your time.